Kevin, it's disappointment today in the Emirates FA Cup, departing in the first qualifying round, a 1-0 defeat by Coalville Town in a game which I think probably in the first half was fairly even, and in the second half, probably as a consequence of the penalty, it started to get away from you.
I think so. You know, big moments in games, and again, we've gifted Coalville the lead. It's a rash moment that doesn't need to happen. The build up to it again has to be better from some of our players there, and then you find yourself off the back of that losing. You know, players losing their way and getting a little bit desperate and making poorer decisions, and emphasising the importance of not allowing the opposition cheap leads like that. You know, Coalville are a good side and understand how to manage the game. But I didn't, as you say, I think up until half time, I think it's a fairly even game. I felt there was a whole lot of improvement to come from us. Should we have recognised moments better and joined play up a little bit better? But we were seriously loose with some of our passing there in throughout the game, really. Okay, it didn't get highlighted quite so much in the first half, but certainly, second half we lose our way, and some of those younger men that I'm having to trust in, and given the opportunity to, I need them to do better. But that's throughout the group, we need to do better, and that's where we find ourselves. And I understand the disgruntlement of some of the fans and what have you. I need to do, I do need to do something about it and potentially try to change one or two.
Sure. I suppose it's the nature of it that the league is the bread and butter. The league is ultimately probably what you're judged on. But the FA Cup does have a bit of a special place for, I think, fans at a lot of clubs, and I guess fans also know that it's potentially the key to, unlocking some extra finance and things like that. So they know there's a lot riding on it.
Yeah,
and you do too.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been lucky enough to have runs in the competition as a player and a manager. Excuse me. The importance of it, and putting extra, money into the pot. It's a the most lucrative competition that we play in. And to let it pass us by, I think, in the manner that we did there today is disappointing for everybody. And, I have to deal with the frustrations of the crowd. And I understand that, and they have every reason to be frustrated with, a lack of, there's a lack of quality there at times. And then people look at that as a lack of effort. And I think there's a lot of young men there that do lose the way in crucial moments. And if things aren't quite going your way at certain times, and when we go the goal behind, staying strong together and showing that little bit of robustness to get through it and, get ourselves back into the game. And I felt second half, it was too little too late really towards the end. We've had a few shots from range, but we haven't really troubled their goalkeeper like you would hope to at home. We've got to do better. A lot of inexperience in the group, and we can't make that an excuse. That's what we've got, and that's what I've got to go with. And losing some of like Nathan, who's a big player for us, and Fraser is a big player for us, have proved probably as consistent the players we've had this season. But players need to rise through that and come through that and realise that when their moment comes along, that they own their performance, and aren't making silly, naive decisions to like I say, give the opposition a cheap lead.
Sure. I know in the case, I'm sure I could see by Steph Jones' body language, the head in hands down on the turf. He knew the magnitude of the error he'd made, and similarly, I'm sure Ty Webster, when he got to him at the end of the game, was contrite, and he had a bit of a battle with Doyle Charles there in midfield today, who's probably just a little bit wilier than him, I think.
I think exactly that. They've got, that one thing they have got about them, Coalville, and I've seen a lot of them, is that, a lot of their players are very streetwise. There's, a lot of experience in the group. They wouldn't have any, for us to have two 18-year-olds playing in the side is great, but we need to come through these games and understand, like I say, the crowd being frustrated with it. And we are, as I say, you're going to get difficult periods and difficult moments when you're trusting in so many young players. Outside of that, Tarek was, loose in some of his play in the first half, turning the ball over too easily. That's nothing to do with shape. That's down to concentration and managing moments and making good decisions and then good execution. And when you switch off and you turn the ball over as easy as you do, on that surface and with an opposition that are very streetwise, they're going to cause you moments. And off the back of that situation where they go and hit the post, they've been a little bit fortunate. But equally, we've worked a good moment there ourselves where I think Ellis, Ricardo and Montel have combined, and it's probably the best chance in the first half. That can happen. You're not going to score every moment and every chance, but we need that to happen on a more regular basis.
Sure. Ty presumably is now going to be missing for a number of games, probably starting next week at St Ives, which is where you aim to get things back on track.
Yeah, we've got to regroup through the course of the week. That's what we've got to do, and I probably need to try and shuffle things around and see if we can bring a couple of players to the group, because clearly there are some of the players that aren't quite to the level that we need, and that's what happens. If we're winning games and things are moving the right way, you can see that bit of progression. Clearly you stay with it. But the unfortunate part is, we were poor second half against Hales Owen. We were poor second half tonight. I've got to try and manoeuvre things around and grow us as a team and make sure that I get players in there that are capable of dealing with it. And those young lads will learn from it, but obviously none of us can accept. we've got to be winning games. That's what we have to do. And that's where it sits. I understand the nature of football and what's expected, and I need to take responsibility for that and do better.
Kevin, we appreciate your time as ever. Thanks very much.
Thank you.